Good afternoon, good morning, everybody. This is reveal number 545. It is a 2009 Philadelphia formative years LP2 log splitter, whatever you want to call it, Lincoln cent roll with a double die showing on the end of the roll. So this is one of the ones that has the doubled thumb. That it's showing on the end of the roll means that we're likely to find others inside the roll. So we're going to open this one up and get started. Here we go. Good morning, Paul. We have a gaggle of people from the other reveal who should be filtering in here. There's Carl, there's Frosty, waiting for Wanda and maybe Doug and maybe a few others. Who knows? There's Eric. Just getting my roll opened up. I'm kind of excited to see what else in this because there was a double die right on the end of the roll. And these double dies can be fun and educational as well. All right, here we go. Nice, bright, shiny 2009 Philadelphia Lincoln cents here. Get these back in the roll where they belong. In that spot right there. Okay. Let's start looking. Good morning, Anthony. First one goes to Sureg. Is it one of the double dies? It is one of the double dies. Right here. See that little guy right there? That's a thumb tip. That's a tip of an extra thumb. Let's see if there's anything under the fingers. No. Nothing down there, but we do have an extra thumb tip. You think you found a new RPM, Tyler? Awesome. I think we had a minor that came out of those rolls. Okay, so there is the double die. We're going to check the obverse on, about the first 10 coins. Not really expecting to find much in there, but there are some obverses listed for this issue. All right, so this is it's one of the RPMs. Is it number 9? I'm gonna put these. I'm gonna try to remember to put all these in there. Obverse in, reverse out, so they show up better. So you remember exactly what you've got. Let's see. And coin number 2 shows us that there are normal coins in this roll as well. No doubling there. Hello, the Irish collector. One for Eric. What does Eric get? How many of the double dies can we get in one roll? Well, it's not this one. So far, 1 of 3. 1 of 3 turns out to be a double die. If we stop now, that would be a good batting average. And we go 1 for 3. Two and 0, 1 away to count 1 and 3. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I know you can't have a count of 1 and 3. 1 and 3 is an out. I get it. Just the announcement thing. Something fun to say. Other than, this is a normal coin. I don't like saying that. I say, this one has nothing on it. So, we move on. And I am not a crook. Of course, a lot of people wouldn't pick that voice out because they are unfamiliar with our 37th president, Frosty. Frosty, the coin man. Okay, well, Frosty didn't get anything in here except a weeping, just a very weeping Lincoln. Who would have done that to us? The face on that coin is just horrendous. Tyler, I think you're going to get me into looking at another couple of my rolls. I have lots of those. Number 6 goes to Jordan, the grandson of Parvez, who is probably in the hospital watching our show as we speak. Hello, Parvez. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, Crispy. There you are. Yeah, nothing on that one. Unfortunately. Number 7, Taco John. Nothing quite to expect in here. You know how every once in a while you do have a good flashback, and your flashback is of a coin show that you've been to? I've been to a lot of coin shows, so that I can specifically remember one show is an extraordinary feat. However, that I remember one show specifically, know exactly when it was, and can give you details, is quite a different feat. This was June of 1998. I traveled 4.5 hours to the west of my home to Wichita, Kansas, to go to what's known as the Cessna Show. And I went to the show and saw a few of the dealer friends that I know, a couple of the dealer people I know, and started doing some cherry picking. And that was the show where I found out there was such thing as a proof set with a penny that had the wrong reverse. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I started looking around different coins, especially looking at the 98 proof coins. Didn't find anything there, but that's where I learned that that sort of thing can be found. Well, sure enough, it was a few years, but I went to the Oklahoma City show. Oddly enough, the same state because of previous, well, not the same state. What are we talking about? Kansas versus Oklahoma. Not the same state, Chuck. But I went to the show in Oklahoma in May of 2004. Just happened to be the date of release of my first book. Date of release. I spent about 2.5 months laying that book out, putting all the information into it, getting it printed and bound. And I took some early bindings of that book to the show with me in Oklahoma City. set up a table. The gentleman who ran the show was the gentleman who would eventually own AppMex. AppMex was not a thing back then. They were still the Edmund Coin shop. I met up with a dealer from Enid, Oklahoma, who had found, secured, and published the existence of the first known 1998 proof set with the close AM design. Now you know that that looks like it could be another double die there. It looks like a very small bump, double thumb underneath the thumb, between the thumb and the spine of the book. But that would be the one that would be published in Coin World and wide publicized as being the discovery piece. Made a phone call to a friend of mine in Texas. That one's going to Parvis. We're going to check this one out further, Parvis, and let you know whether or not we can list it as a double die. It could be one. It may be one. Now coin number 13, Crispy. Made a phone call to a buddy of mine. Talked to him for a few moments about this particular item. And he says, I want it. I said, okay. What should I offer? So he told me. I hung up the phone. Walked back into the show, Boris floor. Went back over to the dealer from Enid. Placed my offer. He looked at his daughter, who had found the set in his shop, and turned back to me and said, sold. So I wrote him a check and took the set. It was the one that was published in Coin World, and the only one known at that point in time. And here I had it in my hot little hands. Mailed it off to my buddy, and that's the last I saw of it. It was interesting. Kind of not my cup of tea because there's no doubling or anything. It's just, well, the wrong reverse. What in the heck is going on here? Now remember, this is a bank wrap roll. This is not key scratching on a coin. This is something that came out of the mint this way. I have no idea. These look like striations placed onto the planchet prior to the strike. That's different. Now that's different. Isn't that special? Taco John. I always want to say it. I'm just going to do it someday. And out of the shadow comes Taco Jean-Claude Van Damme. Oh, I'm focusing. My voice is all over the place, but my eyeballs are straight on the coins. Okay, we've got some odd form of Nazca lines coming up on some of these coins here. That's just weird stuff. Now that's just weird stuff. I did not know that. Ah, there's another one. Say, hey, Willie, we got ourselves another one. See, I am focused. There's nothing wrong with my focus. My focus is there. So we got a second double die. For sure, second double die. This one goes to Crispy. Got one for Surig, one for Crispy. so far. And Parvis has one that I'm questioning. It's not the same die, but it could be another double die. Could be. Perhaps and possibly. Douglas. See if we can keep a streak. Do we have a streak? We do have a streak. But this is a different one. It's much shallower and much longer. It may or may not be one. Flip it upside down and see what it looks like upside down. I don't know about that one. I think I'm going to go with a no. It just doesn't show enough of anything to really warrant further navigation into this rabbit hole. Not going to call the shot on that one. Number 19. Now for Mickey. Number 19. Mickey. Let's see. A die crack running down the arm. Almost the entire length of the arm. That's one of those southern things. There's a die break, a little die chip on the collar. When you say length or strength, it comes out without the G. Anybody ever notice that when they're talking to a deep southerner? The length. God, give me the strength. There's some chance there could be some machine doubling, but as far as the double dies are concerned, the ones that are listed are all legitimate. And the ones I'm finding in here, well, the two I found so far for sure, are also definitely legitimate. Legitimate double dies. And this one's not one. So we keep moving on. Coin number 20. Now coin number 21. Frostbite.
Frostbite receives his next coin.
You guys that grew up in the 80s would know that one.
Ha ha ha, Space Captain.
I remember that like it was yesterday. Space Captain was about as far as I ever made it. Which isn't very far. I just had trouble with certain parts of that experience. There's another one. It's got a hit right on the finger. Name that video game. You have 30 seconds. Dun 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 dun.
Ha ha ha, Space Captain.
$20. $10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nobody answered. You don't remember that video game, huh?
Ha ha ha, Space Captain. Welcome to the Gorfian Empire.
You don't remember Gorf? I remember Gorf like it was yesterday. I spent most of my probably 12, 13, and 14-year-old years on that game.
Space Cadet was your first, and then Space Captain. You very rarely heard anyone go up to like Space Admiral, but it did happen, I'm sure. Jordan is next. For Jordan, I hope another good coin here. Let's see. No, we didn't get one. This is not the double die you're looking for. So I thought about the possibility of actually going to auctioneer school. Give me something to do. And perhaps give me more purpose. Yeah. To be an auctioneer. Because what I do presently isn't truly auctioneering. Ah, there we go. There's another one. Boom, bitty, boom, boom. That one's for Eric. So, Eric, you get one. Right, because the skill of auctioneering involves the idea of watching the crowd, enticing the crowd to bid, being very quick on your feet to move the increments up to get people to bid, actually more than they really wanted to, or perhaps to bid in error, thinking that they were bidding a lower increment when they were actually bidding the higher increment because you're so fast. Their reaction is slower than your voice. And when you're doing the YouTube experience, the YouTube auctions, it's not quite the same as having a room of people in a hot, dank, smoky room with little cards to hold up when they want to bid, and their little eye movements and their little head movements and stuff that tell you that they're bidding. And then you got 3 or 4 people standing on the side of the room going, "Yep! Yep!" That's the auction experience, boys and girls. This, what I do, is just kind of chanting to chant, I guess. I mean, I'm getting pretty quick at it. Pretty decent, I think. And it is different from regular auctioneer stuff because I'm watching a chat. I'm not watching a crowd. I'm not watching people. I'm not using the visuals around the room to get the language, because there's no visuals around the room to get. I got nobody in the room as far as a live auction would be concerned. But I think I'd like to do that. Chuck the cattle auctioneer. I'm a Holstein heifer now. Anybody? Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, that'd be kind of fun. I think. I don't know. Pork bellies at $45 a piece. 45 now. 45. A bit of 45. 45, 50. Of course, in the auction world, most of the time you would go from 40 to 42.50 to 45 to 47.50 to 50. 250 jumps. But that's where you're doing the incrementals, and no one really has any control of that. You're doing the incrementals and that's it. Whereas in this particular environment, you're sitting in front of a keyboard, you can enter whatever number you want to enter. Even when I'm calling for a full increment bid, you can half the increment and put it on there and it will be accepted. Whereas in normal auctions, if you take, for instance, if your increment is $1 from 21 to 22, and you do a slit throat cut. A slit throat cut means that you want to do a 21.50, not 22. So you do 21, 21.50. At 21.50, still looking for a $22 bid, but your 21.50 bid, you're done. If anybody outbids your 21.50, you can't bid anymore because you have already taken your cut. So when you cut the bid in half, that means you're done. That means if you don't win on your half cut bid, game over. You have to wait till the next item. I don't do that on the show, in part because there needs to be some order. There are DDOs, Patreus. Not very many of them, but there are DDOs. Most of them show some extra thickness in Liberty. The excitement of the 09P LP2s, however, lies in the reverse and the double die reverses. You wouldn't believe this, but sometimes when I drive to the post office, that's the time I use to practice making my auction chant faster. So I got my dog riding here next to me in the car, and he's listening to me auction off nothing, thinking I am just as crazy as I look. Tis what it is, dog. You still know who feeds you at night. You know who you hide under when there's a thunderstorm. So don't judge me now that you're acting all strong and with it, like you know what you're doing. Not acceptable. You know, this actually doesn't look like an axe. It looks like a hammer. And given that it looks like a hammer, well, it is. It's a sledge. It's a wedge hammer. And given that it's a hammer, it looks like one of those hammers that you whack-a-mole at the carnival to hit that little plat, makes the little ringer go up and ding the bell. That'd be so cool. Sherman has the Wayback Machine. Well, if Sherman actually had the Wayback Machine, he would go find us a roll of Gem BU 1909S VDB Lincoln cents. If I had one of those rolls just drop out of the clouds onto my lap, I would not sell the coins at full price. Here's how I would do it. I would make a ticket entry at $50 per ticket. Maximum of 50 tickets per person. And I would actually create the tickets. I would widely disperse the idea that we're going to do 50 drawings from the final bucket full of tickets. And those 50 drawings would win the 50 coins in the roll. That way each of those coins actually cost the person who purchased them $50 a piece. It's not the losing tickets you spent your money on that count. It's that one winning ticket that you bought your item for $50 that counts. Your losing items, well, you would have lost had you not gotten the item. You would have lost on those tickets if you had gotten the item. So the fact that you got the item has no bearing on your losing tickets. It's only your winning ticket that counts. Well, would I grade them first? Why would I spend the extra money? Let you guys do that. Hey, look, there we go, another double die. Another double die. Anybody bid a double die? How about a bit of double die? There's one for Sissy. Sissy. Double die for Sissy. Oh, yeah. There's coin number 41. Yep. That's how I felt like back when I was having my voice problem. Yeah, I felt like that dude doing Sling Blade.
Yep. I miss mustard and biscuits. I'd rather have some of them French fried potatoes. Uh-huh.
That's what I felt like. I couldn't talk. Like, you serious, people? Give me my voice back. I want my voice. I want to be heard. Let's see. I don't have one this time around. Bummer. DN. Do you know how much it would cost to grade a full roll of 1909 SVDBs? Somewhere tuning north of $5,000 is what it would cost. You think I got $5,000? I mean, I would if I sold the coins. I'm sure if I had an original roll of 1909 SVDBs, at least half of them would be 64 red or better. That's what, $2,500 coin? $3,000 coin? Anthony now with not a double die. This is not the double die you're looking for. Alright, let's see. If it's not Anthony, could it perhaps be Paul? Paul? Did Paul get one? Oh, he did. Paul did get one. Congrats to Paul. I haven't lately, Carl. I haven't. I probably should at some point, but I just haven't. I've got about 3 rolls of wheats that need to go to NGC. I have about 7 rolls of varieties that need to go to Annex. My problem right now is Moulala. I don't have the money to get them graded. Well, I wish I did. Let's see here. Okay, nothing on this one. Number 47, Sureg. We're going to be doing a game before too awful long. We're working on the rules and working on coming up with exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. We've got 2 different games in thought. And okay, so let's stop. How do I determine what coins go to what grading company? If the coins are going up for grade, for a high grade, I send them to NGC. The reason I send them to NGC is that PCGS is no better at grading and they're too expensive. Even though people will pay more money for PCGS graded coins, I can test that their grading is about the same as NGC. So I send them to NGC because it's half the money. Then, if the coin is an error or a die variety, they go to Annex because Annex will give good and true attribution on thousands of different known die varieties, many of which PCGS and NGC will just totally skip over and not grade. And if you send high-grade coins into NX to have them graded, people will not take them seriously and will not give you anywhere near market value for them, even though NX is sometimes a tougher grading service than NGC or PCGS. And their grading is relatively as consistent as NGC or PCGS. But you have a large share of the market who, back when PCGS started in 1986, they followed PCGS away from ANAX, which was the ANA grading service at the time, to be a part of the good old boys club. And when that happened, the history or the future was set in stone. And from that point forward, far fewer people would take NX seriously. And ICG came along in the mid-90s. Nobody has taken them seriously, not like with high-grade coins. High-grade coins, the only place you want to go is either NGC or PCGS, simply because the market is accepting of those and not of the others. Now, see, the one that I found that's for Parvis that may be a double die, I'm not sure of. But the ones that we found for sure, the double dies that we found for sure are for Paul, Sissy, Eric, Crispy, and Sureg. Found 5 of them in there. And then Parvis is one coin that we're not 100% sure. So that's what we got out of this roll. It is currently 12:14. My next reveal is scheduled for 2 p.m. So it gives you a little bit of a break. Time for lunch. That's what I'm going to do. So it will be 1 hour and 45 minutes from now. Hello, Sissy. Good afternoon, milady. And you caught the very end of the show. So I'm going to go ahead and take off now. I'll be back at 2 o'clock. I'll see you then. And we'll be ready to do this 1944S roll, I believe is the next one up. See you then.